Welcome to the midterm rental coaching hot seat, where you get to ask me three questions or less in 15 minutes or less, man. Welcome. How's it going?
Good, good. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I will say since I can ask any question, do you have a team that is overseeing the Bay Area in California? And is that something that I can work, some people that I can work with?
Yeah, so I have so I don't cover California, but I do know operators. Can you hear me okay, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
But I have operators who like you know Doma Lux, that's David Kaminsky's team.
No,
Um
never.
he is and I'm actually gonna see it here. He covers that area a lot. And so he specifically does tenant placements there. So I guess there's two models, right? There's the model where people just own and operate like we do, and then we have a lot of folks in our mastermind call where we have properties that we control that we don't own as well, that we're able to say, hey, as these inquiries are coming in where we're 100% occupied, let me funnel those over to someone who could benefit from it. And in our mastermind group, it's pretty cool. We just send it over to them. Or even, it doesn't even have to be mastermind either. It could be sometimes I get very creative and I'll reach out to somebody on like Furnished Finder and I'll say,
Mhm.
hey, listen, like I'm 100% occupied, but I work with this company. I have a great relationship with them. And here's what we're looking for. Are you able to assist? Now you actually become a tenant placement company. So to answer your question in short, I don't cover California, but it is in my best interest to say if someone were say do you cover nationwide, I would say yes. If there is a need, then I would reach out to somebody like you and be like, hey, listen, they're looking for this zip code. Do I do that often? No. Do I want to
Mhm.
go in that direction in 2025? Yes.
Mhm.
Mainly, our pillar is Georgia. So all things Georgia, I got you covered because that's where a majority of our properties are.
Mhm.
But at the same time, also in the beginning, wanted to carve a niche where when you think of Georgia, people think of invested escapes, which I think we've done that. So what I would say is if you have like an inquiry that comes in or
Mhm.
you're occupied or maybe I don't know if you're in a position where you're looking for families to relocate in your properties that you own, then I think it's a matter of me. I have a form I can send,
Mhm.
but I think it's in your best interest to also partner with those folks. Like I'm gonna I think it's Doma Lux. Let me put that Lux Properties.
Mhm.
There you go. It is. I'm gonna drop it in the chat for you. That's probably who you want to connect with because they do this at scale.
Okay.
And I know the founder, and you probably want to contact them and get into their database. I think it'll be more productive for you. So check it out. I just put in the chat. Save that link, bookmark it, reach out, be like Ruben sent me. David, a great founder operator, has tons of connections in California.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll reach out to him. I see the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say one of my properties is similar as close to Lux as possible, and another property is more mid-scale.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's just good for them to know too, just because you never know they might not be able to fulfill a need, and then they have a partner. But tell me, what's your goal though? What are you trying to accomplish right now? Is it like you're trying to get in front of these clients and don't let me monopolize. I just want to. I feel like there was maybe a larger demand behind that question, so I want to be able to answer it effectively.
Yeah, I right now I'm managing four properties, two I own in the East Coast and two I am arbitraging uh
Nice.
California. I'm I've been doing it for about a year and a half. I kind of want to let the numbers sit a little bit before I double down and spend too much money. Uh
Mm.
I
Like
would
on furniture
say
and stuff.
yeah, it's already furnished.
No, but you're saying like spend more money on like another like
Another
arbitrage.
unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no arbitrage for now. And then I'll probably save up some capital for another property in the future. But yeah, I want to let the numbers run just because it is my first year and a half running it, and just want to see if the profit and loss makes sense now, and then the projections make sense later.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, I'm just kind of sitting tight on it, and I'm definitely way open to opening up my putting up myself out there in front of clients, especially midterm rental clients. Right now, I do have an MTR client right now that's booking my one of my places in San Jose, and it feels really nice. Like it's just I don't know, talk to them one time, and then they're good for like right.
So I
So
love this space. What's what's working and what's not while you're here? Like you might as well ask me. Like, is there a
mhm.
pain point of any kind or
What's working or I've posted all on those platforms that I've seen in some of your videos, maybe
Mhm.
the ones you get for free, right? ALE, temporary housing, Alacrity, or some other other platforms,
Mhm.
websites, temporary housing. I've submitted all my properties, just usually haven't heard back. And then I'm a Furnished Finder for two properties, and I'll get a couple inquiries, but nothing really logs out. I feel like I usually end up getting high budget, like sorry, low budget clients, and my properties I usually charge. I wouldn't say I charge a premium, but it's usually over budget. So that's the pain point. Is like I just see all these leads, but they don't really go anywhere.
Okay. I guess there's a few things. Usually I always have to look at the listing, but you say you priced average, above average, premium.
Above average.
Okay.
Yeah. And
By
a
how much?
premium
Like 25% or 50%, would you say?
from the market. For one of the properties, it's 25% at least above. For sorry, for two of the properties. One of them has a pool and another one is just way better than the market. So two properties are priced above 25%.
And you're on Airbnb.
Yeah.
Uh,
And VRBO.
so are you using Zillow?
It's listed on Zillow for one of them. Yeah.
Well, usually it comes down to, optimization copy matters. And obviously at the end of the day, availability matters. I think it's depending on how long would you say you've been like actively like setting yourself up for that business?
For MTR, it was just like a one time thing. Like I did it for a month, reach out to as many clients as I can. The people who are finding properties, like ALEs and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Did it for a month, posted on Zillow, and then just kind of left it alone.
Yeah, you definitely. So, you want to make sure your Zillow is always available, even when you're not available, right? That's one thing that I talk about a lot. But you also want to make sure that you're also staying top of mind. Like if you have a contact or two, or if you are going to reach out, it's in your best interest to have multiple what I call digital footprints in your inbox, where they might be looking at some point, but if they do a quick search in their inbox and you only hit them up once, then they may not see you. They may see the other guy who's sending an email blast every week, even when that guy doesn't have anything, but the name is staying top of mind. I would say that matters for sure, and then obviously being on multiple platforms helps a ton. I think the biggest one is Airbnb. I think you want to make sure that do you have one listing on Airbnb or two
I have four listings on Airbnb.
for four properties, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are those getting booked with short-term rentals?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So I think part of what I teach too is how you can duplicate your listing to get
Hmm.
um
I have that for two of the listings.
you have
One
duplicate listing?
fully open calendar. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely want to use that. Don't have everything in front of me, but I think there's a lot of elements. It comes down to um sounds like you're doing the right thing, which is good. Definitely would expand the database search and also um one of the things I like to put out there, you'd be surprised, makes a huge difference is putting out there that you're flexible with different prices. Like, because someone might look at your price and be like, "Oh, that's not a budget. I'm not gonna reach out." But if you have on Zillow like, hey, by the way, the prices you see here, can change with respect to different lengths of times of stay, right? We
Mhm.
have a different release for 2 months versus three versus four versus five versus six versus seven, eight, right? I think when you start to get into that, you get so you might have that insight where it's like, okay, great, like this looks a little bit pricey, but you know, you're kind of displaying it that hey, different rates may apply for different lengths of stays, which means you may be able to discount it and or you might be able to increase it depending
Mhm.
on the demand. And so I think that also adds that transparency of flexibility is important. But again, like without having seen everything, usually I can pick something out. And then sometimes it's just being in the game for long enough. Like if you set yourself up as a MTR for a month, depending on the time of the month, you may or may not need it. Now, if you're in California, though, are you saying you reside in California and you have some properties in California?
Yeah, I have two in San Jose, California.
Okay, that's North Cal, right?
Yeah, NorCal.
Yeah. So you didn't get like impacted by fires or anything like that.
No.
Yeah. What's the unit mix on those homes? How many
Uh,
bedrooms?
3 bed, 2 bath, and then 4 bed, 2 bath. All has 4 beds, so it fits at least 8 people.
Yeah,
And be pet friendly. It's not disability friendly
yeah,
per se. Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, high level without having seen it sounds like you're doing the right thing. I would say just foster the relationship side of the house. So it sounds
Mm,
like your assets are sitting in the right place, but you definitely want to make sure that you're not just reaching out like once or putting it in your database and just folding your hands and then be like, all right, let's see what happens. I think you can be a little bit more proactive, especially if you're in that area and like no one else is doing it. You can
mm,
pretty much be the go-to person in that area, but it takes just having one contact or two. You don't have to think about having 20 different relocation specialists. It's good to go deep so you can kind of have the
mm,
intel, insight, volume. Are they even getting demand in this area? I like to hear from the horse's mouth, and I think that'll go a long way.
mm,
So I definitely think if you have a contact from before, definitely follow up. Remember, sometimes following up, you'd be surprised. Like follow up is in a fortune where they may receive a no, and then you come back and follow up and say, "Hey, why was it no?" It's like, "Oh, because it was too high, or because it was the cleaning fee or the pet fee." I'm like, "Okay, great. Like if I moved that, it would work." It's like, "Yeah." Like, okay, why didn't you reach back out? You
mm.
might think it's obvious to reach back out, but they don't have that time because they're thinking,
Yeah.
"Okay, submit, response, move on." So fortunes in the follow up. I know that's for sure. Based on what you said.
Yeah, the 100% makes sense. I think I gotta be more proactive and just keep pounding at least the brand or my offering right into their head so that they
Mm-hmm.
versus the other guys. Okay, I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and like reaching out to someone like Doma, stuff like that, like they might have like stuff
Okay.
overflowing on their plate where they might be able to trick it your way. So that's the rule of thumb too, being able to kind of call that out there.
Mhm.
And then if one, I'll give you another big tip is put it on your listings that you have other properties.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Right? Like that helps. Uh, like hey, don't like this one? Here's another one. We just closed on a Airbnb like that. They had reached out for initial one. Then I'm like, by the way, I have option one and option two. Let me know which one. And I give her addresses. They
Mhm.
just booked, like legitimately, a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because one might be just showing up better in algorithms, right? And then the other ones could be lost in the sauce.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
Okay, great. I do have one more quick question if you have time, but no worries if
No, shoot, got quick. You gotta make it quick because I got somebody on the other line.
what type of utility or company should I reach out to in a urban city like San Jose for trying to get more clients? Things like
You,
electricity companies, construction companies. What do you?
I feel strongly about going to relocation specialists because
Mm, okay, take
that's
note.
what they do for a living. Like in passing, a company might like what dewater out water company or whatever might be like, oh yeah, like yeah, well, we'll keep you in mind. But at the end of the day, these guys, the relocation agencies, are dealing with this in volume. So the closest source I can get to, that's what I hang on to. The question I would ask is, what other relocation companies, Ruben, besides Alacrity and THD and the ones that you mentioned, I would
Mm,
do a quick take my little chat GPT query and use that as a hey, what other companies like ALE Solutions? What other companies like CRS in my neighborhood, in my San Jose? Like, can you give me? Because there's tons of them. A lot of mom
mm,
and pops who might know. I've done a lot of small businesses with mom and pops, My Key, some other smaller Key Lux. You
mm,
might not have heard of them before, but they're
okay.
there. That's what I'd focus on because these guys are literally having relocation specialists or even properties like this, like a Doma situation where that's all they do. And so I want to do business with that's like it's forefront. It's not like something like, oh yeah, at hindsight, I'll reach out to Alvin. You know what I mean? So that's what I
Yeah.
would recommend. Just broaden that scale of like those even small local companies. We know the big ones, but let's find those local ones. And I feel
Mhm.
like that should put you in a good position.
Perfect. Thanks, Ruben. I appreciate the content. Keep pushing it out. It's helping guys like me. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
man. And we got a challenge coming up too in 2 days. So if you got four properties, 2 days in 2 weeks,
Mm.
make sure you go to experimentrealestate.com/challenge. And I think you'll get a lot of value. I'm putting together this challenge that has helped. I used to do this boot camp and I'll put it in the chat so you have it
Okay, yeah.
last year. But if you're interested, come and show out, and I think it'll be good to do it alongside. There's a lot of things you can tweak along the way. All right.
Perfect. Thanks, Ruben. Take care,
Take
man.
care, my man.
Bye.
Enjoy.